Well, let's take you through the news that is right now coming in from our top sources. We're given to understand an Indian Air Force plane has gone missing. Air Force plane has been identified as Su-30. It's gone missing after taking off from Tezpur in Assam. We only have this bit of information that he'd taken off from Tezpur in Assam, where the Indian Air Force plane hasn't been on radar since then. The Indian Air Force plane has been identified as Su-30 that's gone missing after it took off from the Tezpur Air Force base. At the moment, all the agencies have been alerted, and Su-30 is still untraceable after it took off from the Air Force base in Assam. Su-30 or Sukhoi plane is a twin-engine plane, and it is a fighter aircraft that's been inducted in the Indian forces. We also have Shiv Arul, who's joining us from the newsroom at the moment. Shiv, give us more details that are coming in.
Pretty troubling news coming in from Tezpur, which is a large Eastern Air Force base in Assam, Devina. And this is the Su-30. This is, of course, a representative video, but the Su-30 are the most advanced frontline fighters that the Indian Air Force currently operates. They have a couple of squadrons in the eastern sector as well. Now, this particular Sukhoi in question took off a short while ago, earlier, late morning actually, it about 60 kilometers north of the Tezpur Air Force Station. The ground control lost both radio and radar contact, which means it completely disappeared from radar, and there was no audio communication with the two pilots who were in the aircraft as well. Now this is a catastrophic situation, because it is very, very rare that an aircraft can go missing for an extended period of time like this without it having met with some kind of an accident. Now, we don't know about the safety of the pilots just yet. We're hoping that they were able to either recover the aircraft or punch out of the aircraft if it was in distress. But as of now, there is a search and rescue operation with helicopters that has been launched from Tezpur and elsewhere to locate the aircraft, re-establish contact, and see if the pilots did manage to bail out. That is the hope right now.
Well, Shiv, absolutely prayers with the pilots that they're able to come out in safe zone at the moment. But can you tell us where did Su-30 lose contact? What's the location where it was last spotted?
Well, that's precisely what the Indian Air Force is currently looking for. The point on radio contact where it lost communication was approximately 60 kilometers north of the Tezpur Air Force Station. Now, Tezpur is in Assam. It's not very far from the border between Assam and Arunachal Pradesh. It's a very large base where the Air Force has conducted a lot of training. It currently has squadrons of fighter aircraft and helicopters. Now, the Su-30 happens to be the Indian Air Force's most modern fighter aircraft, even though it has seen a spate of accidents in the recent years. Now, these are aircraft that the Indian Air Force operates in very large numbers and are by far their most advanced, type in the air right now. They're called air dominance fighters because of their enormous capabilities. So to lose a Su-30 is a very, very troubling prospect. And this would, if today's aircraft has actually crashed, it would actually be the 8th accident involving the Su-30. Now, 60 kilometers north of the airbase in Tezpur means that the helicopters would be able to reach any spot over there pretty quickly. But given how fast, fighter jets move in the air, 60 kilometers could easily, become double that number in a very, very short span of time, because 60 kilometers is nothing for a fighter jet. So the big challenge now, the big focus now will be in locating the aircraft and parallelly trying to re-establish contact in the event it is still in the air or has been recovered. But chances are, when you lose contact, both radar and radio, for such a long time, it is usually pretty bad news. Let's just hope. The hope now is that perhaps the aircraft has crashed, but the two pilots have been able to eject.
Or absolutely, Shiv, but also topographical challenge in the area for the search operation team. Take us through that.
Absolutely, very good point, Devina. The topography in this area is mountainous. There are forests. It's a difficult, pretty uncertain kind of terrain. The northeast has very thick jungles. North of Tezpur, just beyond Tezpur, there are lots of mountain passes. There are high ridge lines, between the border of Assam and Arunachal Pradesh. So it is a tricky area to fly in. Helicopters always find it a challenge to fly in those areas. We don't know exactly what the aircraft's orientation was, what its bearing was, where it was flying. What we do know, it was on a routine flying sortie, which the Air Force flies on a daily basis to keep its aircraft active and to keep its pilots on point. We don't know what happened. Was it a technical failure? Was it an engine failure? It would be too premature to talk about, what happened to the aircraft, or if anything actually happened to the aircraft. There are a number of other possibilities as well that could lead to this kind of catastrophic loss of communication and contact. But that situation is, a very, very small possibility. At this moment, you're right, the topography, the terrain there is difficult, and search and rescue operations, along with the attempt to re-establish contact with either of the two pilots, is going to be the absolute priority and focus.
All right, Shiv, also take us through what's the routine sortie. When Su-30 takes a routine sortie, what's the area that it usually covers? And we understand that there were two pilots in Su-30 this time round, where it had gone on what initial reports suggest on a routine sortie around 60 kilometers off Tezpur in Assam.
Now, Devina, the Su-30 is a very high-performance fighter aircraft. It's a multi-role combat aircraft that's capable of both air-to-air and air-to-ground missions. The Indian Air Force operates more than 200 of these aircraft and will ultimately operate about 300 of them. In fact, they are built even now by Hindustan Aeronautics in Nashik under license from technology from Russia. Now, these are, formidable aircraft, and that's one of the reasons why the Indian Air Force has bought so many of them. These aircraft, obviously we're not in wartime, but these aircraft are currently used, to train pilots, to keep pilots active in terms of air combat operations. Like I said, these aircraft are used, across the gamut of spectrum of missions, including air-to-air missions, air-to-ground missions, surveillance missions.
Shiv, I'll have to interrupt you there because I'm getting some fresh information. Shiv, I'll have to interrupt you there. I'm getting some fresh information right now that's been sent to us by Manjeet. He has said that bad weather is a major reason for loss of radio contact with Su-30. It's windy and raining at the moment at the location, and that's why it's gone off radar, and there is no radar or radio contact with Su-30. Currently getting this information from our colleague Manjeet, who's been able to establish the initial bit of contact with the Indian Air Force sources who've said that bad weather is a major reason. It's windy, it's raining, and hence radio and radar contact has been lost. Now, Shiv, you have the experience of detailed study of Sukhois as well. What happens in a windy condition? Is it possible that the aircraft could be at a safer location and could establish contact at a late point?
We don't know that yet. It could be a factor, Devina, but let's remember one thing. I mean, weather could possibly hamper the search and rescue operations, but the Su-30, let's remember, it's a day-night all-weather fighter. These are fighters that are built to take off, operate in any kind of weather, rain, storm, lightning, cyclone, any kind of weather. They're able to, they're built and designed to be able to fly in extremely inclement weather, usually because Su-30s and other fighters fly above the cloud deck. So they're not really affected by bad weather. So if a pilot sees bad weather, the usual standard operating procedure is to pull up on the stick and gain some altitude so you can actually evade the weather and evade the clouds. They move fast enough to be able to do that. If it was bad weather that caused this, it would be a very troubling element in this entire dynamic situation, because we don't know yet if this aircraft has crashed or is met with any kind of accident. That is still to be confirmed by the Indian Air Force. But the bad weather issue that Manjeet was talking about is an important one, because that could hamper the relief and rescue operations. If in fact the aircraft has crashed in bad weather, that could hamper or delay or restrict helicopters from looking for the aircraft. But I'm given to believe that helicopters are already in the air and they should be able to find something pretty soon. Like I said, and I'm saying this for the third time, but it's very important because there is a human aspect here. There were two pilots in that aircraft. The hope against hope is, even if the machine has been lost, let's hope that both the both qualified pilots flying that Su-30 managed to escape.
Absolutely, Shiv. Can you also take us through what's the protocol of a search operation that's been launched after an aircraft goes missing? What's the standard operating procedure?
Well, the standard operating procedure, remember, and that's a good question because it works very, very fast. The Indian Air Force, over the years has been able to, quickly put in place a standard operating procedure which kicks in extremely rapidly after, when there's any inkling of some kind of trouble in the air. Now, the ground control or the air traffic control at Tezpur immediately after losing contact would have given it a couple of minutes to, a kind of margin to allow the pilots to get back in touch. After those few minutes, immediate emergency protocol kicks in. Standard operating procedure means all basically the quick reaction rescue teams are alerted at the base, and all fighter bases have these facilities. Remember, the Indian Air Force also has many other bases in the area which have helicopters. There are bases like Hashimara in Bengal. Several other bases. There are advanced landing grounds in Arunachal Pradesh which may be closer to the site where the accident took place, which have helicopters. So they've got a network that's able to quickly sort of gauge where the nearest point or the nearest air base is, from the last contact. From there, a coordinated search effort will be launched where one or more than one, in usual cases 2 or 3 helicopters are sent towards a location. They are talking to each other as well, Devina, and they are also coordinating, trying to zero in, triangulate on a point where the Sukhoi, had its last communication or radar contact, and then try and start searching that area. And that's where your last question actually comes into play, because of the topography, because of the bad weather, all of those factors have to be accounted for as the search team gets into it. So it actually becomes a kind of air-ground search operation. You've got a ground, a ground team that's coordinating the search effort from ground traffic control in Tezpur or elsewhere, and you've got these helicopter pilots who will be in the air and who will be trying to get an airborne view of where that aircraft might actually be. In addition to this, if required, because we still don't have the details, so I don't want to conjecture, there may also be ground teams. There may be teams on the ground, either Air Force personnel or locals who will be, hired by the Indian Air Force to conduct some kind of meticulous ground search in the event that they can't actually see anything from the air. This could be because of mountainous terrain, thick jungles, snow, that kind of thing. Now, right now there won't be snow, but in the event of that kind of terrain, there might be a ground search as well. But right now, the effort will be to triangulate where radar contact and radio contact was lost and what has happened to that Sukhoi.
Absolutely. In fact, also another big concern that's coming out at this point of Shiv is this, not only the safety of the 2 pilots, we're trying to get details of the 2 pilots as well who are on board Su-30. The aircraft, whether it is safe at that point or not, but at the same time, how far it went from China border, because Tezpur, accordingly is about 1400 odd kilometer from China. Around 60 kilometers of Tezpur is when the flight, when Su-30 was last spotted. Quite far away from the China border, but is that a concern at this moment, Shiv?
Definitely a concern. This is something that pilots are trained in the Air Force very, very strictly for, because airspace violations are a strict no-no for combat pilots. There are agreements already between India and China and India and Pakistan as far as an airspace buffer zone into which pilots from both sides don't fly, because flying into those zones will be considered an act of belligerence and an act of hostility. So that is something that pilots are trained very strictly to avoid. The situation changes dramatically in an aircraft that is flying out of control, where pilots have presumably, and I'm speaking strictly hypothetically, not about the current situation, because we still don't have enough information and I don't want to speculate. But conceivably, in a situation where an aircraft has lost control, the pilots have lost control of the machine and it's heading in a certain direction. Remember, like I said, Devina, Su-30s are supersonic high-performance aircraft. They fly at unimaginably high speeds in the air, which are able to cover tens of hundreds of kilometers in bare seconds and minutes. So to be able to cover those short distances between Indian airspace and out-of-bounds airspace, could happen in a matter of minutes for an aircraft that's out of control.
Be with me because we have Wing Commander Praful Bakshi as well, who's joining us right now. Commander Bakshi, thanks for speaking to India today. Your word is very important right now, sir, because we're all trying to understand that how does a Sukhoi 30 function? It went on a routine mission, a routine sortie. What does it mean when a Su-30 is pressed for a routine sortie? And also please give us an understanding of the area of Tezpur where Su-30 had undertaken a routine sortie. It's gone missing 60 kilometers of Tezpur in Assam.
You see that area it could be high ground if they are flying over the mountain, high hills or mountains, and there are also on the other side, it could be the jungle area, and of course Brahmaputra is close by. But we do not know exactly what the direction he was coming in and what exercise he was doing. But if he has lost RT contact, obviously emergency must have been very, very severe, because pilot did not have time to give a RT call. And even if the RT had completely failed, then probably nothing could be done, said. But the pilot could have ejected, and we are very sure pilot could have ejected. This aircraft does not go out of control during flying, etc., like this, as it could be thought with other aircraft. There is no doubt about it. Yes, flame out can be there, but flame out of both engines is again very, very, very rare. You cannot have both engines failing until there is something seriously wrong with the pipeline or the engine system or fire in the air, something which is quite strange. And as I had told you,
in March this year itself, Commander Bakshi, we had seen that Su-30 aircraft had crashed in Barmer. Now, there is a serious concerns over Sukhoi safety as well that's going to be raised. Once we're able to trace what happened to the aircraft, and hopefully the pilots are safe at the moment. You're saying that there is a procedure for pilots to eject. We hope that it did work at this point of time. But sir, is the Sukhoi safety debate once again back?
No, the question is that there's no need to go into debate. But those who understand fighter flying, yes, sometimes the aircraft can crash due to certain reasons. But these reasons are sorted out very fast. These are fighter flying is a high performance exercise. It is not like airline flying. Here the rate of accidents is high, is undoubtedly high, because it's a risky job. But question is, there are not more than 6 aircraft have crashed since 1998. So that is a very, very low rate. It is a very safe aircraft. So investigations will be on, and we cannot conjecture now until and unless the flight data recorder is checked up, or the cockpit voice recorder, and whatever the things. If we can get hold of it.
Commander Bakshi, I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one, because our best hopes are with the pilots at the moment, that they've been able to activate the emergency procedures in case of a crash for Su-30. It's gone missing at the moment, sir, and we hope that the flight pilots are safe. But sir, can you take us through how is the standard operating procedure pressed into service? We were talking to Shiv also about it, in the event of a flight going missing by the Indian Air Force.
The moment the flight goes missing, you see the whole system of alert goes on, and the rescue helicopter which is available, search and rescue helicopter, takes off. Is already on standby. And whichever the last place noted is on the radar, that place is noted. And if there is any ground station close by, out there, the army unit or ground station, they're at once contacted. It's a broadcast done, and the search parties from that place also start up. You know, and experts are there in the ATC. They can tell what was it. Was it doing a closed controlled descent? Then they can make out its direction and what is the last direction and last speed known, so they can roughly calculate if it has come down to the ground where it could be. If it is a high speed exercise going on, then the matter becomes different. But the ground and search party go hand in hand. They go, local police stations are told, and the local collector's office are told. So as the civil rescue teams, the police teams, Air Force teams, Army teams, they all are activated. And if railway is available, then the railway, their communication system also comes in.
But sir, Commander Bakshi, also trying to understand, in what situation can Su-30 lose both radar and radio contact? Because even if it's an inclement weather, then at least radio contact, I believe, can be established. But under what situation? And here is where we are getting into the arena of the most worst possibility scenario, where radar and radio contact is lost by Su-30.
Yeah, these cases have happened early. that there is a multiple emergency in which the electrical failure is also there and the radar has, the RT has failed. And due to emergency, the pilots have had to eject. So the pilot could give a call of that they are ejecting. So even if they have shouted on the RT, nobody would have heard them. And the pilots would have ejected.
Okay.
Any multiple emergencies can end up in that. And if they're in bad weather or something like this, then they're ejecting, then probably a little bit more difficulty is there for during parachute descent, etc. That goes hand in hand. But it is not very rare that these things have happened. They have happened earlier also.
Okay.
So where total RT failure is there, and aircraft will go out of radar when it goes below the height. So it will go off radar. So it does not go off the radar suddenly. It goes when you go below a height, when the radar lobe cannot pick you up. So that is when it goes off radar.
Okay, so we hope for the best case scenario. Thanks, Commander Bakshi, for joining us. Thanks, Shiv, for joining us and breaking it all down for our search operation on at the moment. 2 pilots gone missing after Su-30 goes missing 60 kilometers off Tezpur. All our prayers are with the pilots that they are safe at the moment.